British forces set New Orleans as the target of their major offensive. They ruled out a water approach up the Mississippi River and instead chose bringing their ships to Pea Island in the mouth of the Pearl River. Guarding this entry was 5 American gunboats. Their 23 guns and 185 men were no match for the 45 British barges with 43 guns manned by 1,200 men, who after a swift fight dispatched the American gunboats on December 23, 1814. They did give Jackson additional time to prepare the defenses of the city and alert him as to the direction of the British advance. The British first came ashore at Isle-aux-Pois on December 16th, where they established a temporary base. From there, they were to go by small boats up the bayou to a point 8 miles south of New Orleans. On December 22nd, a British force of 1,850 men, with General Keane, landed and made their way to the river road. The British force surprised a small group of American militia near the Villette House and were captured. Their commander got away, however, in time to warn Jackson. By sunset, he had 2,100 men ready to attack. The American schooner Carolina, carrying 14 guns, was slipped into place opposite the British, and when she opened fire, it was a signal for the Americans to attack. Close quarter fighting followed, during which, in the darkness, it was nearly impossible to tell friend from foe. When it was over, 46 British and 24 American were dead, 167 British and 115 Americans were wounded. Keane now decided to await the balance of the army before engaging the Americans again. Jackson moved his forces 2 miles back and created a strong earthwork behind the Rodriguez Canal. Every able-bodied man was drafted into the American lines, either manning them or building them. On December 28th, the British army, now 8,000 strong, moved forward. The British had no idea that there was a formidable American defensive position awaiting them. And, as the columns moved toward it, the combined guns of the Louisiana and the infantrymen behind the barriers had a field day shooting at the British, who were forced to withdraw. The British awaited for additional reinforcements, while the Americans strengthened and extended their lines. The British had a plan that called for an attack of the secondary force on the right bank, and then a main attack on the left bank, opposite the main American fortification. The British advanced against murderous American fire. The British forces were pinned down by the American forces on the left bank, taking murderous fire. Their forces made some advances on the right bank, but a lack of coordination made it irrelevant. In the meantime, the British were making no progress against the American lines and suffered unsustainable casualties. They were forced to ask for ceasefire and before long began withdrawing. In the course of this battle, the British lost 192 killed, 1,265 wounded, and 484 missing, against American losses of only 13 killed, 13 wounded, and 19 missing. So the Battle of New Orleans, which had actually been fought after a peace treaty had been signed in Ghent, ended with an overwhelming victory, and General Jackson was now the hero of the war and on his way to the presidency.